A fantastic stage in Deutschland Tour today with UAE Team Emirates smashing the climbs with McNulty, but a relegation has Tadej Pogačar, who obviously was watching at home, not happy. So we'll see, we'll analyze the sprint at the end, see if what you think about the relegation. But this was the hilliest sort of zone of the entire 4 days of the race, in the middle with the Eshoff and the Butenberg. The finish was easier, but the middle hill zone was harder than the final yesterday. It's just really far from the finish. And so what would the teams do? It's like an uphill sprint. Johnny Narvaez is 1 second adrift of Warenschold, who's in that blue polka dot resplendent speed suit, the Uno X rider. Brennan's on like 17 seconds. So this race is all about the bonus seconds. Marco Haller's only on 20 seconds. He's in the breakaway with Leinzer and Steimler, so the break has no chance, although maybe he's thinking, and he was actually correct, that if I'm ahead in the breakaway and then UAE Team Emirates smash the hill zone, I might not get, well, I won't get dropped because I'm ahead. I might get caught and then survive because it's easier in the last 65 Ks to the finish. We have one of these climbs, 2.6 Ks, 7%. This is a perfect climb for Narvaez, for McNulty. And McNulty, MVP today for UAE Team Emirates. He did a really, really good job. Frankly, McNulty could have won the stage himself. He was so strong. If he went solo, I don't really think anyone's bringing him back. Micah helps out as well. And they're dropping everybody. Milan gone. He wouldn't come back. Pithy dropped. Van Poppel was under pressure. You see Micah with the tongue out right at the top of this climb. Like, McNulty is putting the hurt on everybody. Bad news for the break, but they survive over the top. So this was the key moment of the race. Brennan lets the gap open up. It's just near the top. He's got Van Aert ahead. So maybe he's thinking, all right, Van Aert will... Yeah, I'm represented. Van Aert's on 15 seconds on GC. I can chill. August goes to close it. Søren Warenschold, I mean, he deserves to win the overall Deutschland Tour because he's been the strongest rider in the race. All 1 meter 95, 90 kilos of him, he closes the gap Brennan opened on that climb when McNulty was smashing it. So Warenschold, incredibly impressive. The problem for him was, for the last 2 hours, he has no teammates. The cars don't come up for quite a while because Bauhaus and Van Poppel are in the middle. Van Aert starts to drill it as well. Visma have 5 of their 6 riders. UAE have, I think, all of their riders. Pollitt as well. So Milan's not coming back. I mean, him pulling with Consoni and Mosca, it's just they're not closing 1 minute 40. And the question is, can Van Poppel come back? Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe actually do a very good job. I think Lipovitz in particular. So chapeau to Lipovitz, who crashed in a very awkward fashion yesterday, hitting a sternum. And McNulty's dropping not just that group, he dropped literally people following his wheel. He was that strong on the climbs. Milan parks it. They're not closing 150 with 2 or 3 riders. And Tudor actually starts to drill it as well because Marco Haller, as I said, 20 seconds on GC. It's an uphill. It's 500 meters, like 3-4% this finish. And Van Poppel's off the back with 1 teammate and a UAE rider, I think maybe Kristen, who wasn't relaying. He's just getting a free ride. And yeah, Lipovitz does a sterling job for Van Poppel. This was really make or break territory. The cars are still not in at this point, so if you have a mechanical, you have big problems. Van Poppel does get back. At this sprint, there was no bonus seconds, but Warenschold, he must have been worried. He must have been worried at this phase of the race. We've got an intermediate, like a real bonus sprint, 3, 2, 1, 4 Ks to go, 3 Ks to go. He must be thinking, UAE got Kristen, Narvaez, Pollitt, Visma have Van Aert on 15 seconds on GC and Brennan on 17 seconds. They're going to try to roll me. Someone, I mean, IPT even have Sheehan. They're going to try to roll me. It was actually the only attack, the only anticipation in the whole final came from Enzo Leinzer, the tall young rider from Netherlands on Picnic Post NL. McNulty closed that down, Van Aert in the wheel, and you can see, like, there's gaps opening up on one attack. This isn't Ivan Romeo attacking. Leinzer was in the early break. If it really became an open race with a Pollitt countering here or Kristen, I'm not sure this would have been a sprint. But UAE Team Emirates decided that the sprint was the best option, I think. They went all in on Narvaez. Visma did the same with Brennan. Visma just focused just on the stage win, but Narvaez is on 1 second on GC. Is he really going to beat Warenschold on a 500-meter 3% kick? We see at the intermediate sprint, Warenschold goes for it. He's not had to do anything for the last 2 hours, apart from fetch his own bidons from the car behind him. He sits up a little bit too early. It's a curious intermediate sprint because it's downhill just right at the end of it. I know he sits up. I think Narvaez was going to roll him anyway, just like with Sheehan yesterday. I think Narvaez actually is just timing these sprints perfectly. But, of course, now Narvaez is level on GC with Varenshold. I don't know who actually had the tiebreaker. Sheehan does try to counter. You see the gaps opening up, but the last 2.5 Ks, no attacks from a UAE rider. Van Aert, who could have been attacking maybe himself and isolated Varenshold, he does the lead out, and Varenshold can't believe his luck. From the intermediate sprint, he gets to sit P2, and Brennan is a bit deeper. He gets boxed and swamped on the right-hand turn at 700 meters to go. Van Poppel gets into good position following Watson. Tudor do have a lead out for Haller. Brennan's deep, though. He's 7th wheel. Van Aert starts the lead out, and then Varenshold opens pretty early to the left-hand side. Van Poppel gets a good slingshot. He wanted to go inside on the barriers, but then Varenshold was waving around. There is a bend with like 200 meters to go. And this is a very, well, yeah, it's controversial relegation, I suppose. But Van Poppel, he wanted to go barriers, I think, and then Varenshold moved over, and then he sees the space here in front of the Tudor rider. Brennan is behind. I think Van Poppel, he looks under. Maybe he sees Brennan's there. Maybe he's just trying to get aero. He's established his line here. Brennan decides at this point he's going to shoot the gap. He's going to shoot the gap between Varenshold and Van Poppel. Van Poppel's going to be on the dashed line, and then Van Poppel moves across a little bit. But I think the reason he got relegated is because he keeps moving across. It's not because the gap was this small and Varenshold moves back in. It's because Van Poppel moves again over to the left. And maybe if he just moved a little bit and then Varenshold moved to the right, Brennan gets squeezed, that's life. That can happen in sprinting. But Van Poppel never looked confident, and you actually see the man who got brought into the winners area, Varenshold, behind him, studying the tape. So when it takes a long time, generally speaking, it's going to be a relegation. That's what's been happening this year. They've been a lot stricter on it. Varenshold winning ahead of Genier, Watson, Sheehan, Baroneccia, Raccagni, Noviero, Brennan, Zambanini, Haller, Meyerhofer. Pogacar didn't agree with it on Instagram afterwards. He said Van Poppel was the rightful winner. What do you think? Here's what Søren had to say after the race.
Oh, I seen the footage, so yeah. I think it's the right decision, but it's not the way you want to win. He was the strongest one, but he didn't keep the line. So I think, yeah, if he just kept the line, I think he would have won either way.
Another success for you on this little Deutschland Tour, but what a hard day it was globally from start to finish.
Yeah, it was it was super hard, and also mentally just. After I was alone at the end, after I got some good help from my teammate, but unfortunately they didn't stick with me over the hardest climb. So it was. I was just waiting for them to attack and then just say, okay, that's it, it's over for me, and try to focus on tomorrow. But luckily for me, they didn't attack, and yeah. I can get some more bonus seconds in the end, so I'm just super happy.
But Varenshold goes into the GC lead, now 10 seconds ahead of Narvaez and more than 10 ahead of the other sprinters. It's a flat stage tomorrow. This is his tour of Germany to lose. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you the recap tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.